the listening skies. Let it resound loud as the rolling sea. Sing a song full of the faith that the dark past has taught us. Sing a song full of the hope that the present has brought us. Facing the rising sun of our new day begun. Let us march on till victory is won. Hello, everyone. I am Carrie Thompson Smith, the Sunday School Superintendent for Beautiful Zion, AME Zion Church, located here in Tuscaloosa, Alabama. I want to welcome you in to this space and to this time as we are presenting a Black History Project. And the hopes is that as we present different members of Beautiful Zion, some that we will present to you may not have been members, but they pastored or they were related to members and they had a lasting impact on our lives here at Beautiful Zion. And I'm hoping that each one of us will look in the mirror and ask ourselves, how am I living? What is my legacy that I'm leaving? What impact am I having on people that I come in contact with? And hopefully, we will all be inspired to do more and to really look at our lives and see how we can have a positive impact. So today we have with us Mrs. Cassandra Davidson Grice, and she is going to share one of her loved ones with us.
Hello, everyone. I want to speak on Peter Brown III, my granddaddy. He was born February 5th, 1910. He was the fifth of 13 children born to Peter and Minerva Brown. He always would say, I'm a Peter, my daddy was a Peter, and his daddy was a Peter. He grew up, played, worked, and worshiped God in this very community. His father, like many of the men in the community, farmed to provide for their families. He was 22 years old when he married Mary Emmer Sanders, and together they raised 10 children. And just like his father, he farmed. As a young family, they lived across the street from Beautiful Zion in a house he built right next to his parents. Mama told me Papa, which is what she called her granddaddy, said he bought that land in front of the church because they didn't have transportation, and he needed some place to live that was close enough they could walk to church. In 1946 or 47, his family, which by this time included 8 children, moved to a house on 50 acres of land located 1 mile down the road from the church. Mama says she remembers it well because she hated it. The house was smaller and the house was surrounded by woods. You couldn't even see the neighbors for trees. But Granddaddy promised it would get better, and it did. A few years later, trees were cleared and a bigger house was built. Now he was using the skills he learned from his dad and the land he owned to farm. Turnips, collards, corn, sweet potatoes, peanuts, peas, most of what you could find growing at a specific time on his land. He used what he loved doing to not only provide and feed his family, but to feed his community as well. People came from all over Tuscaloosa to buy Peter Brown's vegetables. If if he knew a family was having a hard time, they would pay less or pay nothing at all. He provided a means of income for some in Tuscaloosa by hiring them to pick cotton he planted and sold to the cotton gin. I remember my brothers and sisters and I going down there one summer. Well, it may not have been summer. I don't remember what time of the year, but we were gonna pick cotton and make us some money, right? So Granddaddy gave us a bag and told us to go out there and fill it up. And I don't know how long we were out there, but I went back with my bag. Granddaddy weighed it and gave me 10 cents. And he said that was more, he said that was more than I deserved. So needless to say, I never went back to pick cotton. uh-uh. He also raised hogs. One of my brothers has a memory of going with Granddaddy to the place that processed the meat for him. Granddaddy went to pick up some meat. And the guy brought the meat out. Granddaddy looked at it and he said, "This not my hog." And the man asked him, say, "How you know this not your hog?" He said, "I feed my hogs corn, and corn-fed hog meat doesn't look like this. Now go back there and bring my meat out." And the man went right back to the back and came back with Granddaddy meat. Granddaddy's farm by now has grown into one of two biggest Black-owned farms in Tuscaloosa County. A visit to his farm was a field trip for many students in Tuscaloosa, including his grandchildren. We were so proud to stand next to him while he gave our classmates and teachers a tour. He couldn't have done it all without the help of his wife and his children working alongside him. They missed a lot of days from school, but all 10 graduated high school and 5 of them completed college. Farming was very hard work, but Granddaddy loved it. He also loved baseball. He sponsored and managed a team called the Tuscaloosa Blue Sox. It was made up of his 3 oldest sons and other teenage boys in the community. He purchased a bus for traveling to games in surrounding counties, and he built a baseball field with benches for the fans to sit on. It had a concession stand that my grandmother and my mother and sisters worked to help with the cost of baseball equipment. He even had a box. He even built a box for his brother to sit in to call the games. The field was on the Hughes property, also located on the Sanders Ferry Road. They tell me the Blue Sox were unbeatable. Not only did Peter love farming and baseball, he loved the Lord and Beautiful Zion Church. One thing my mother and her sisters and brothers remembered and agree on, we were at church every time the doors opened. He supported Beautiful Zion any way he could. He donated lumber from his land to build the dining room, the kitchen, and Sunday school that was added on to the old church. And he and his sons also helped build that addition. He served on a trustee board that led the church to purchase a parsonage that was needed because for the first time they had been assigned a pastor that was from out of state. So he didn't have anywhere to live. But Granddaddy and Grandmama, they offered up their homes along with other families for the pastor to live in until they were able to purchase the parsonage. He also served as a class leader, and later he became the building fund treasurer when the Links program was formed to help pay for another addition onto the church back in the 80s. That was my introduction to the business side of the church because he recruited me as his helper when he started losing his sight. Helper turned into building fund secretary, and that moved on to other positions in the church. He always wanted BC to improve and grow. In 2001, he was recognized by the Tuscaloosa District as Layperson of the Year. I know he would love what's going on now here at Beautiful Zion. Granddaddy died in October 2002. He was 92 years old and completely blind, but he never sat around feeling sorry for himself. When we would go down to visit him, sometimes he would be sitting outside in a chair at the barn, which was probably 100 feet or more from the house. He would use a long stick to tap an overhead line that was run from the house to the barn that was for lighting. And he couldn't drive anymore, but he wanted to be picked up for Sunday school for church every Sunday. His socks may not have matched, but he was always ready and waiting. All in all, God took care of Peter Brown, my granddaddy. Now here's a short video I want you all to hear.
I want you to join hands with one they say to you. Be not dismayed, whatever you do, God will take care of you. God will take care of you through every day, all the way. He will take care of you. Thank you.
God really took care of my granddaddy, Peter Brown III.
Oh my goodness. Thank you, thank you, thank you so much.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Oh my goodness, Mr. Peter Brown. And I was like, oh, she had a picture of that at the time, that picture of him sitting in that pew, his seat at the old church.
That's
Yeah.
right.
That when I took that picture, and that was a picture of the oldest member and the youngest. That's my oldest son.
I thought that looked like
Caleb.
yeah,
He's 21 now.
yeah. Wow. Yeah, yeah.
Wow.
Mhm.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, I have been amazed. We know people in whatever arena that we see them in. We just
Mhm.
know them at church. That's all we know about them is, what they do at church. But I'm telling you, I have been introduced to some awesome
Yeah.
people
Yes,
just
ma'am.
in these 2 days that we've been recording so far. I am just floored. And as one of the presenters pointed out, our ancestors um, did more with less.
Mm-hmm.
And so again, my hope is that we look at ourselves and ask some, hard questions. And
Mm-hmm.
what is the legacy? Because I'm listening to all that. I'm like, wow. I mean, business owners, and the
Mm-hmm.
theme around this area that I keep hearing about, those that were in the community of Beautiful Zion that were members here, is not only did they take care of their own families, which were large,
Mm-hmm.
but they tried to take care of the
That's
community.
right. That's right.
And we still, we still have that. We still
Mm-hmm.
have some living legacies and legends right now that even though they're in their 80s, they still are gardening and still trying to take care of the community.
Mm-hmm.
So again, thank you for sharing, Mr. Peter
Welcome.
Brown the
I'm glad
third.
to do it. Glad to do it. I love that old man, girl. I was
Mr.
glad to do
Brown.
it. Yeah. Yes, Lord.
God of our weary years, God of our silent tears, thou who hast brought us thus far on the way, thou who hast by thy might led us into the lest our feet stray from the places, our God, where we met thee, lest our hearts, drunk with the wine of the world, we forget thee, shadowed beneath thy